Gabbie Hanna is a YouTuber and musician who's become a tad bit infamous for getting into petty drama, using scandals to promote her music, and she's even been accused of playing the victim to gain public sympathy.
I am the victim.
Victim? You're a martyr even. Like a modern day Joan of Arc, but angrier, like the shift supervisor at a Sephora. But today we're not gonna focus on any of these cringe-worthy clips, okay? Instead, we're diving into Gabbie's other recordings of her screaming in self-pity, her music videos. I've watched all 16 music videos that Gabbie currently has up on her channel, and I noticed they all share a lot of very similar themes and production elements. Like, very similar. For example, girl, how many evil twins are you supposed to have? And is it possible for you to act sad without touching your face? And it led me to wonder, does the Gabbie Hanna brand really only have one message that they're trying to get across through all of these videos? Or is Gabbie simply relying on certain cliches and that's what's causing her videos to feel so inauthentic? Either way, we're about to find out in this Gabbie Hanna edition of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV, and creator content online to see what's going on. Can we please think about it harder? Why? No, mama? Those are some of the questions we ask. I'll put the link to this whole playlist in the description below, but most importantly, before we dive into Gabbie Hanna, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns like this, and I would love to have you subscribe if you're new here. That way you'll never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so click subscribe and turn on the notifications and you'll always be the prettiest girl at the party with all the latest news. So I've been familiar with Gabbie Hanna since around the time that I started YouTube. I used to watch her videos back when she was called The Gabbie Show, and I can definitely see why she was popular at the time. But in the years since, she's continued to release music and really try to focus herself, like her whole career, towards being a musician. And you know, actually, I gotta say, I've listened to all of the songs that she's done videos for, and I don't think any of them are bad. In fact, I think Gabbie Hanna should be commended for having such a large body of work out there. All of the songs sound rather professionally produced, and I think the same can be said for these videos. I don't think that any one of them were particularly bad, but I also struggle to remember any of them as really unique or emotionally powerful. In fact, by the time I got to number 16, I was like, okay, is this Groundhog Day? Because I was starting to feel like a lot of repetition in terms of what I was seeing on screen, how bored I was getting by the 3-minute mark, and most importantly, with kind of angsty message that Gabbie Hanna is constantly trying to put across through her music. Sarah Bareilles on a bad day. So as you might be able to tell from the title of this video, I put together a list of common Gabbie-isms that I discovered throughout her music videography, and I'm gonna take you through each of those items today while pulling out some examples. Also, I don't know if you know, but I have merch with my aloe plant on it, this aloe plant, so you can check out links to that in the description below. The first thing I noticed as a theme running throughout all of Gabbie Hanna's music videos is that most of them are shot in some sort of warehouse or dilapidated house situation. So right off the bat, I'm like, okay, Gabbie Hanna's got a real industrial vibe going on here. Maybe she grew up in a factory of some sort. Do you guys remember in the old days when like 6-year-olds would work in a textile mill and their arms would get ripped off all the time? That's very much the environment in which most of Gabbie Hanna's videos take place. If you don't believe me, just watch. Here's like 4 different videos that all have either similar looking locations or the exact same location.
I don't wanna come to your party. I'm unwell. I'm a queen who never seems to get applause from anyone. Maybe I'm the monster that's been here all along.
Girl, do you live in Disney's Haunted Mansion? What is going on with the decor? All of this distressed wallpaper is distressing me. Have you guys ever read the yellow wallpaper where the woman goes insane? She was talking about Gabbie's house here. Also, let's go back and look at that stage run she does when she sees the younger version of herself. It gives me very much Rat Scare in Walmart Vine. Clearly, these are self-produced things. They're not working with hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's really probably more like $5,000 to $10,000 that they spend on each of these videos. And most of that money is gonna go directly to the director, who probably owns his own camera rig, gaffer, like a small crew, hair and makeup. We're not spending a lot of money on locations or on set decoration, and I get it. But to me, renting out a warehouse like this, at least for someone to do in more than one video. I could log on to ShareSpace right now and probably find this exact downtown loft somewhere somewhere for about $300 a day. Like, it's really affordable. And then from a production standpoint, you're golden because you get in there and it's like, all right, what do we have to do? Just kind of turn on the lights. It's particularly true in videos like Special, Perfect Day, whatever this one is where she's in the tube, I can't remember. Those all feature, I can tell it's the same studio because they have the same yellow markings on the floor. And it's like, what's the concept? Well, we start off in a big empty room and then we stay there for the whole song. Although the songs themselves are not bad, the videos are rather boring. Another area where I've seen Gabbie reach into the same bag of tricks over and over again is using these match cuts to show something suddenly appear or disappear, or to just flash between two dramatic sort of contrasting images. It happens in Say What You Mean Out Loud. Her boyfriend keeps like appearing and disappearing in the frame. You see it in Bad Karma with her evil twin, but I didn't actually notice it was something she kept doing until I caught it in Pillowcase.
Teardrops on my pillowcase.
Oh my god, y'all, how'd she go from that white room to that black room so fast? They must be using Hollywood trickery. This, like, turn the camera off and then turn the camera on somewhere else thing is like the oldest camera trick in Hollywood history. This was like the first thing that I learned how to do using a video camera as a kid, to be like, I'm gonna make myself disappear. Snap! Oh, I'm gone. Is there a ghost in the frame now? I'm gonna poke you from behind like a haunted devil. See, there's really nothing to it, so I don't know why they keep pulling this into the videos like it's some sort of stunning trick that's gonna impress everybody. Because to me, it just feels like, ooh, low-hanging fruit to make something that kind of feels cinematic, but is really just a little homegrown. Again, once or twice, I wouldn't have noticed it, but 3 times, and I'm like, next on the list of things you can expect from a Gabbie Hanna video is one major set piece that's gonna hopefully be interesting enough to keep you focused throughout the whole video. In Say What You Mean Out Loud, she has this wall of Polaroids behind her, which, I mean, it gives me very much like Confessions of a Broken Heart by Lindsay Lohan. But also there was definitely a Demi Lovato video that did this, and then like 16 music videos that I worked on in college all had this, because they sell the film for Polaroid cameras at Urban Outfitters, and you can basically go snap, 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 hang it up, and it looks kind of aesthetic and trendy. For me, I'm just like, if your set decoration is also what 16-year-olds do to make their headboard look interesting, it might be okay to step it up a little bit more. There's this part at the end of Honestly where she's like tied up in these bed sheets in a scaffolding. I think it's supposed to look like a spider web, but to me, I just get like, is this like a jungle gym if you're one of the Garbage Pail Kids? I'm not sure. In Monster, one of her more recent videos, they kind of gave us a little bit more with this burning down house. I'm pretty sure they're like, that's all CGI, but still, it looks cool. One of my least favorite ones is like this Barbie box that she puts herself in for broken girls, but I have a lot of issues with that video. We'll get to it later. Oh, and Pillowcase again. This one, we have a lot of examples for Pillowcase. It seems to have a little bit of everything.
I'll come to your funeral, but I won't promise to cry.
As you can see, she's in like the tube of silence or whatever, and then it starts filling up with black water and she's like drowning the whole time. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was cool. I wish that it could have filled up from the top so that we could see water pouring in over her and getting her soaked and wet rather than filling up from the bottom. Also, I kind of wish the water wasn't just like black water that was like clear on her skin. I wish we could have had some sort of sludgy stuff that looks messy, but I get it. There's limitations. At one point, she's standing in the rain and she cannot keep her eyes open in this rain machine, whatever they're using. All I can notice is her like Ardell wispies getting saturated with water and just dragging her lids down. If I'm trying to shoot a music video in the rain, you better believe I'm gonna put on strip lashes before every shower for the week leading up to it, just so I can train my eyes to stay open while tap water floods in. Hard water scratching my cornea. It's all in the name of art, baby. Another thing that I couldn't stop noticing, the distracting eyeshadow and makeup looks throughout all of these videos was something that kind of pulled me out again and again. Gabbie Hanna loves a smoky eye, doesn't love blending those edges out too much though, so we end up just kind of seeing like a block of eyeshadow in the shape of her eye socket. But generally, I'm like, we need more blush and less highlighter, and yeah, maybe some sort of eyeshadow primer. Get you some Urban Decay primer potion, and we're gonna be in a much better place next video shoot. I think the worst for me was probably Satellite, which is, I think, one of her first music videos based on the length of her hair and like seriously low production value on both the song and the video, and the fact that she thought it would be fashionable to glue some plastic stars to her face.
I'm a satellite.
Oh my my god, nostalgia vibes. She's reminding me of my bedroom ceiling from when I was 10 years old. Satellite was sort of a lyric video where Gabbie was standing in the light of this, like, you know, one of those things they sell on Instagram that projects stars onto everything. She got one of those and stood in front of it and then sang and sang and sang her little heart out. It's very close, like we don't have a lot of variation in the camera angles. We never see more than just her shoulders up. And I'm just wondering, why are you keeping the rest of your body such a mystery, yet we all have to know that you're shooting this in front of your closet doors? Like, why can't that be disguised a little bit more? Next on my list of Gabbie music video isms is, it's kind of related to the last one because it's another note on makeup, specifically smeared makeup for dramatic effect. This girl cannot make it through one shoot without rubbing her eyeliner all down her face. It's really upsetting to me as someone who worked in makeup because I would spend my whole day just trying to preserve the look until it was time to change the look. Like, you do not want that makeup budging. If you're in some sort of scene where there's water or fake blood or crying, you really wait till like the end of the day to go for those takes where you can go all in, get the face wet, cry and ruin the makeup, smear the blood on yourself, because everybody knows that it's gonna be difficult to wipe that off and reset, so you save it for last. And I've definitely been involved in music videos where all of a sudden it gets to the end of the day and the director's feeling really artsy and he'll come up to me and be like, what do you think if for the last shot she starts smearing off her makeup and screaming into the ceiling? And I'm like, well, I think she'll look like me when the Slurpee machine is broken, but if that's what you want to do, let's do it. Turn up the snot factory. Get this girl looking wet and sad, just like the boys like. But it really feels like Gabbie wanted to do this makeup smear. In most of them, it's like has to do with her crying or being deconstructed or broken down in some way. Where I noticed it the most was again when she was in that Charlotte's Web, because she's in there with two men who are just grabbing her face so much, and all of them have this sort of black smear of eyeshadow over both eyes.
I swear to God, I'll never miss ya.
Gabbie, did you leave some bacon in your pocket? Because there's a guy sniffing you like you're on the menu for brunch. Oh, I've got a little tag on my sleeve here. Let me chew it off like a chipmunk. Why do I use my teeth for everything? You would think I'm part rat. Am I part rodent or am I Gabbie Hanna's biggest fan? We don't know. Speaking of Gabbie Hanna being intertwined in some bed sheets and going like this, and then going like that, and then going like this, we're gonna talk next about Gabbie Hanna's danceography in her videos. It's very, I guess you could say at certain times, Sia-like. You know, that Sia video with Maddie Ziegler and Shia LaBeouf where they're like, like everything's really frantic and sort of like interpretive. You know how it's exactly like that. That's kind of what I get from a lot of Gabbie Hanna's videos, although she does go for certain ones where it's a little more traditional pop. Like you'll see her with 2 backup dancers. In Broken Girls, she actually has 4 backup dancers who are all painted to look like dolls. So I thought, okay, we got some dancers, we got some body paint, that's not bad. Although I was definitely not a fan of how cramped that framing looked. I could never really see all the dancers clearly at once. They didn't stand out enough from the background for me, and Gabbie just looked crowded by everyone. I think where it stood out to me most was Special, because she had this whole big airport hangar to like fill up with her dance moves, and I think she just kind of underestimated how difficult it would be to carry a whole video with that kind of performance. Like the dancers in Sia's videos, when you're watching them, it's like fascinating to see how quick their bodies move, how agile they look. The choreography just looks so free, yet it's clearly rehearsed. In Gabbie Hanna's, it's not bad dancing, but it is a little bit like wah, wah. For example, here in Special, I'm not a huge fan of the forest green sweatsuit and these like grand motions that she's doing.
To hear it anyway. If I sang a song, reciprocate or shot no bullets from my gun. I'm a queen who never seems to get applause from anyone.
Wow, I'm so glad they finally caught the Joker and put him in an asylum where he belongs. Yeah, again, I will commend her because I think putting in the time to choreograph something shows a lot of effort that takes several days of pre-production and a lot of forethought. So I commend that. I just feel like the framing of it doesn't do the dancing justice. Like if you're gonna get 4 guys in to paint their elbows like Ken doll, like we should probably rent a space where we can see all the dancing. Group choreography looks great, but when you really want it to sing on camera, you gotta be giving me some dynamic movement. It should feel as exciting as when you're watching a whole stage full of people dance, and it takes a lot of kind of storyboarding or even just better editing or more coverage to make that happen. And again, some blush wouldn't kill ya to give us some structure back to the face, right? By the way, I just want to say, in case there was any question, I do think Gabbie Hanna is gorgeous. She's very beautiful, and I think she's talented in that she's putting together these songs. I feel like the song lyrics definitely fall into cliche a little bit, just like her videos do, but that's true of, I think, every songwriter when they're getting started. I mean, if I wrote a song, there would probably be tons of cliches. Oof, this is a big one. The next thing that I feel like go into all of Gabbie's videos that really make them suffer is this forced end credit scene that comes up where they try to give you some dramatic story or some like subversive, controversial ending. Her desire to end a song and then go into some other contrasting scene is what gave us some of the cringiest moments of her musical career, like this one.
Overwhelmed, overworked, overpaid. I'm on top of the world, sitting pretty on a stack, but the static still cracks in my veins. People love that I hate myself, yeah, they love that I hate myself. People love that I hate myself, people love that I hate myself, people love that I hate myself. I climbed out of my head and watched myself implode. A thought without a body ought to be the shot to take a load off. My brain is poisoned and I'm searching for the antidote, but every time I find it, my defenses scream, oh no you don't, whoa.
It's really hard to make spoken words sound cool. What Gabbie's giving me here is more like a white music teacher showing the class about jazz. Oh my god, there's a meme like that.
I read poetry and sonnets, and he plays the upright bass.
Yamakipiebo, sedere facebo, in dog Latin he quoth, Uge, sophistore! Well, he bit all the he-dogs and winked at all the she-dogs. The town never knew such a hullabaloo.
He sort of feels me out, I feel him out, and we go for it.
Yes. Going from like a song that was supposed to be funny because she's like making fun of herself, and then immediately into this self-serious kind of interpretation of how the world doesn't understand her, it's a lot to take in, and it makes you wonder, does she even have a sense of humor? Because it seemed like she was joking at first, and then she basically excludes herself from the joke right after. Pastrami sandwich on the counter, glad I found her, and I put her in the chair, and then I danced along the hair, and then I told my rabbit that I wanted everybody's nair. Whoa. Like, you can say anything in that case. It's cringy. I don't know what else to tell you, girl. From telling jokes to the self-serious spoken word, it's everyone's favorite guest at the college party. There's like 6 more videos that all have this kind of end scene thing. I'm not joking. Sometimes it reveals that the boyfriend we thought broke up with her is actually dead.
But you're just a ghost now.
Okay, but why does she look like Max's crush from the Goofy movie in that shot? I know that that girl was just an animation. Even as a child watching the Goofy movie, I was like, that's the kind of bad bitch I do want to hang out with. She's cool. Every song, she walks away and then some other scene happens. Like she finished Honestly and then she's stuck in the bedsheet. Pillowcase, she's submerged in a tube of liquid. But I think the one that made me most uncomfortable was Broken Girls, which ended with a reprieve called Broken Boys. See how she flipped it?
Broken boys I like, broken boys I like, broken boys I like, broken boys I don't share my toys I like, broken boys who make lots of noise I like,
Yeah, those boys really are broken. The one on the left has a severe eye twitch. This whole Broken Boys reprieve is literally just her saying the same thing over and over again, and then the pitch going up. I don't feel like that was actually put in there because it adds anything to the song. I think she thought it sounded cool. It just feels like it's trying so hard to be cool, and it's just a lot. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, you decapitated some dollar store Barbie dolls. You've got your plastic jewelry from Icing by Claire's. There's overuse of like trendy sound production type of things. That whistle that people do, that whoa! She has that a lot. You're pulling out every top 40 pop tracks trick in the book, but you can't seem to find a different folding chair for your video, because that's next on my list, is the folding chair that stars in so many of Gabbie's videos. She dances around them, she sits in a circle with them. Perfect Day, I swear, if you haven't seen the video for Perfect Day, I got some gray hair watching that, I swear. I think she was trying to go for like a really story storytelling Broadway type of ups and downs, highs and lows type of song. But it seems like it's just her sitting in like the middle of a basketball court when they shut off the lights on her. They were like, that girl's still practicing. She's always practicing. It's okay.
Butterflies ruin my perfect day.
She finally rejected the chair. What's she gonna sit on now in her next video? Maybe she'll stand? I'm nervous. Next on the list of Gabbie-isms for her music videos is same haircut, different color, baby. As I said earlier, her 2 first videos had long hair, and then I think she went through this whole Taylor Swift Reputation type transition, and then she's got that short wavy bob, honey, but not just blonde, okay? You're gonna see that in pink, you're gonna see that in seafoam green, in a brassy yellow tone. You wanna know who the real Gabbie Hanna is? Why don't you just flip open a Crayola box and get the full story, baby. I've always wished that I was an actor just so I could do an emotional scene where you're yelling to somebody in the rain and you're like, it was you! It was always you! Talking about the person that gave me HPV. Ugh. This one is really tiresome, so I'm sorry to put this in your mind, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Gabbie's videos require a lot of acting for her. She's not a professionally trained actress from what I can tell, but she sure tries. She sure takes it seriously when she tries. And it seems like when she wants to show how angsty she is, she's gotta touch her face. The face touching and the self-touching and the clothes pulling is something that really comforts me about all of these Gabbie Hanna videos. You'll see the hands shaking in front of the face, the angsty hair hand move, clutching at my own sweater, claws crossed in front of my heart. Any sort of defensive move that lets us know this is a vulnerable young woman who's here to sing, and also scream a little bit at the end too.
With the notion that I don't deserve this life that I've built, I'm not special.
Yeah, can we get Gabbie Hanna a face shield? She's having a real hard time here in this post-COVID world. Gabbie Hanna's brand, I feel like she's like the older sister's best friend who all the kids want to be friends with, because it's like, that's what a cool 20-year-old looks like. I want to be like her when I grow up. They don't know that when she goes back to her college classes, everyone knows her as the one who's obsessed with zoo animals or something weird. Also, I think we gotta go back and look at Monster, because we actually get some special effects makeup here from this girl who initially looks very scared.
There's nothing left inside. You ate my heart out. After another.
Let's talk about this makeup job real quick. First of all, someone ate her heart out and it's a painted red spot on the chest. I want to see a cavity with guts. Wouldn't that be cool if she moved her jacket and like you saw blood pouring out of a hole in her chest? Oh, I would die. Meanwhile, they painted this poor girl to look exactly like Pazuzu from The Exorcist. The next thing that Gabbie Hanna can't stop putting in all of her music videos is these high-heeled leather boots. They look sturdy, don't they? Real safe for the ankle while we're dancing. Neutral enough that they go with any number of leather jackets. Let's just see how many times these boots make an appearance.
When I'm not around here, really they don't know what I'm made of. Got me wondering what all are you hiding. Tragedy is a work of art. Bad karma.
Shoes. We've all got a favorite pair of shoes. I wear black Converse low tops every single day of my life. But if I'm in a music video that I paid for myself, I will not be wearing some DSW. Those are the type of shoes they would put a female zombie killer in a TV show, don't you think? Let's see some stilettos. Let's rent some designer shoes. Let's be a fashion killer on the scene. I just think the dance moves would be a little bit more impressive if she weren't wearing basically character shoes like every cast member of Les Miserables had to wear in high school. Next on the list of things Gabbie Hanna has to do in her videos, it's clear that Gabbie Hanna struggles with the feeling of duality, seeming to be two people at once. How do I know this? Because she plays an evil twin version of herself in almost every video she's ever done.
Oh, can you medicate? 'Cause you see in black and white. In your glass. Oh, did a little self-improvement. I broke myself out of the cycle. My window pane shows the nightmare.
Beware of me, you guys. I have a dark side. She looks exactly like me, but has contacts in and brushed her hair back. So watch out. Again, I think that this is an easy way on the surface, kind of make your video seem like it has something cool or unique going on. But how many times have we seen this before? It's also like that split screen thing where the reflection is still staring in the window and she's turned around. Like, we've seen it 1,000 times in every single horror movie. There's nothing unique about it, and it's certainly not even unique to her own music videos. Like, we see the contacts, we see the mirror reflections. We see all of this before. Doesn't she kind of feel like we're going back to the same well over and over again? Like anybody knows how to do a split screen thing. I could do it right now. All I have to do is record myself sitting on this side of the screen as well as this side of the screen, and it takes 2 seconds. And I guess one could make the argument that she's an artist and this is how she feels. She's just trying to express herself. But if that's the case, then why do I not know how she feels about any of these things? Like, all I get from Gabbie Hanna after watching 16 videos is that she thinks she's bad at relationships and people are not who they say they are and they break her heart, but she's gonna get back at them. That's not a lot of info. Like, why did every video leave me with the same message? That leads me to believe that she didn't choose those devices, the split screen, the water, the makeup, the dancing. She didn't choose any of those things because they were like the best way to tell her story. It was because those are the things that were available to her in terms of what sort of aesthetics were achievable on her budget. Doesn't feel like she's making great strides to show us something unique. And it wouldn't be a huge deal, like whatever, make your boring music videos, but then she gets online and complains and explains to her audience that YouTube is out to get her because her music videos are not getting the same high views that they used to. I would argue that it's because you've been doing the same thing 14 times. It's getting real tired, people are bored. Like, can guarantee she's gonna have one of these 17 things going on in it. Like, show me something new. I'm obsessed with the Lady Gaga 911 video right now. Obviously it's hard to compare because they had multi-million-dollar budget, but at the same time, it wasn't a huge scope. Like, they shot this video in the time of COVID. They shot it on a back lot, and with the exception of that desert sand shot, it was all really well contained, and it was unlike anything we've really seen before in a music video. You didn't know what was gonna happen next. It was visually stunning. So for me, it really does just kind of come down to creativity. You know what I'm saying? The videos themselves are dry. We get to one location and we sing through the song and we see 1,000 different angles of it. And then I think Gabbie Hanna is really kind of overestimating how much her performance can carry this, as I've said before, because she tries to act in every single one of these. She'll give herself these scenes where she's crying or she's torn up or torn apart, and I don't really see her accessing any true memory of that kind of emotion. It just feels like she's doing the faces and the motions that we see other people do on TV. She has this scene at the end of Monster where she's self-immolating, like lighting herself on fire, and I've never had a harder time sitting through something. Can someone pass that gas tank over here before she starts singing again? Also, it bothers me that that gas is clearly water. What, we couldn't tinge this yellow? That would have sold it a little bit more. You need to see the color of gas so that you can smell the smell of gas and picture her like covered in it, about to burn herself. But again, we got those crocodile tears. I need to see big juicy cheeks if you're crying on camera, okay? Otherwise, it looks fake. Give me those big juicy cheeks. What do you guys think of Gabbie Hanna's videos? Do you agree that there are lots of similarities in these guys? That's a little shocking. I was surprised to see the lack of creativity that overall netted out throughout 16 videos. I would challenge Gabbie Hanna to think a little harder about making a low budget concept that's unique next time. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so click on those notification buttons and you'll never be in the know. And you'll always be in the know. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for becoming the monster that's been here all along with me today. I will see you next time.